Vyrah reporting for duty. Another time together. We're gonna do some React today. I need to check out like for real. Yeah, okay. Everything is working. Everything is working. Everything seems to be in order. Yeah, life is really like all about you like you get like one thing that is fucked up in your stream and you lose some footage and for the rest of your life is all about does this thing still happens because I still don't know why it happened. Like sometimes it's just because because I'm stupid, but like yeah, anyway. So a couple trailers, interesting trailers. So first off, before I wanted to get into this, okay, I found the most beautiful like anime ever. Like this is actually like fucking insane because I was like, so stumble upon a Japanese trailer, you know? And I was like, what the fuck is this anime about? It looks fucking splendid. Splendid beyond words. Like there is like no comparison. And then guess what? It checked. It's a fucking gacha. I need for you you need to fucking check it out. Mm. Okay, so let's check it out together. Like, so as you can see, the name of this gacha is Turbis. It's we'll talk about it after that. But technically, I saw anime. I was like, okay, let's check it out. Okay, let's talk about it. You showed me an anime with such a trailer. The plot seems interesting just because the characters are so colorful, varied, and interesting. The powers are at fuck you level, and then you see like, wow, what the fuck is going on in here? And it's like, so Turbis. It's actually Turbis is actually a fucking gacha game. Like, you go, it's catch game. And it's like, it looks like this. And this is where I was kind of disappointed because like I prefer like gacha games that are like 3D, like Genshin Impact or Tower Fantasy. Well, I'm like, my friend, my dear friend, like, what the wow. Like, you can take, like, check this out. Like, this is basically like, okay, the animation is so good that check this miracle, okay? Like the animation is so good, I press pause, you have a wallpaper. Like you want another wallpaper? Here you go. You want another wallpaper? Here you go. You want another wallpaper? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of animation, so here you go. And say, this is fuck you. What the fuck? This is such a beautiful wallpaper. The animation is so beautiful that like, and then yeah, I was like, yeah, what? Really curious about this Catch King. God damn it! But I gotta say, like, these people are really, really loving of the art of anime. But like, they don't. They don't understand like animation studios they don't do promotional material so ads this fucking insane. I just wanted to fucking like share you this because I was completely astonished by it. Like this is beyond insane. Like The name of the game is Turbis. If you're into gacha games, it will be released someday soon. It's all in Japanese, so I don't fucking know. Well, yeah, here you go. I need to share it to you because I was like, no fucking way. Okay, next song I found Japanese trailer for an anime that didn't got like any releases date for the Western world, but it has a lot of fucking views in Japan for the Japanese people. So I'm like, so I guess like the name, we all know that like we don't say these names in public. Find a joke that like yeah, no, I don't fucking understand what the fuck. But basically, yeah, like seems really fucking popular. Like and the translation from like YouTube is enough to kind of understand. So I was like, why the fuck is it so popular? It got released 5 days ago. It has like more than 100,000 views. Let's check it out.
こういう喋り方だけど気にしないで。
気にならないよ。
いつも誰かを笑うたびに自分に返ってくるみたいでがっかりするんだ。
私もあんまり口で伝えるの得意じゃないから。
頑張って普通でいるくらいならやりたいことやって変でいいよ。
Wow, what the fuck?
ダンスの理由一つ分かったよ。自由になれる感じがする。
Okay, the animation is
気に
absolutely
ならないよ。
okay. The animation checked. Wow, this is wow. Like this is actually fucking insane. The character design. So the character design is like beautiful, you know. But like, damn, this is like. Seems like an interesting story. It talks about dancing and like trying to be normal and people that struggle with expressing themselves. I find it interesting. Actually, I find it interesting. This is a cool one. So yeah, like yeah, maybe when we'll get the name, because how the fuck do you type that? Maybe it will be interesting. Uh, okay. And apparently, like there is a second. Oh, this is another trailer. This was translated when it got released. Like it wasn't translated, so let's check it out.
転校生の石川さんは吸血鬼だ。ミステリアスな雰囲気と圧倒的な存在感でクラスみんなの注目の的。
Wait,
モブの
actually, why? Okay, I guess we'll skip this one. I guess we'll skip this one, and let's try this one. Okay. Uh. Okay. So Shibuyugi playing deaf games to put food on the table. This is an interesting name. Okay. Let's check it out. Okay. Wow.
勇気って言います。よろしく。死亡遊戯で飯を食う。2026年1月放送開始。
Okay, this is interesting. This is interesting. The art style is different from what I'm usually accustomed. Like this seems like an interesting story and maybe something different for like usually what I watch as for anime. Really look at this art direction. Look at her eyes. What the fuck? Like this seems interesting. Like this seems to be interesting. So yeah. Will I be on my watch? I don't fucking know. So it releases in the trailer was 2 days ago. It releases in 2026. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, this is really really cool. Like okay, let's keep going. I have like game trailers as well. Stuff keeps on being released. Wow. What the fuck? This is pretty. Wow.
A Froppet! Froppet! To Webbitwood we go!
Okay, this is actually look at this fucking animation. What the fuck? So first I was like, yeah, okay, this looks okay. But then you get to this part. This looks so clean. This looks really, really. You can see that like they worked on something. They really worked on it, and you can see. Wow! Check this out. This is somewhere you can like live your adventures. This as well, and now I'm like, okay, this as well. Look at this fucking environment, and I was like, wow! And the interiors, like it's something really, really, and this is like this is something interesting. Like, I don't know if the game will be as great, but it seemed to be simple enough to be like not too clogged with like too many fucking things. And there's a bear. Like, who doesn't fucking likes bear, huh? But basically, yeah, looks fucking interesting. The fights like looks like really cool to play. Like, and yeah, it's look at fucking beautiful it is. Like, damn, like I didn't knew. But yeah, Soulframe. Soulframe seems really, really cool. I will check out Soulframe release dates. Um it's not yet confirmed. Okay, it's not yet confirmed, but it is quite a fucking beautiful anime game. Like I see this, you can see like how it plays out. I'm guessing that like it will be playable, hopefully also on consoles, on PCs. But like, god damn, this is beautiful, and like everything is just like so polished and so simple, like sometimes simplicity is way 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 more beautiful to like. There's a bear that likes nuts. Like, this is a really beautiful trailer. Like, I'll pre-hear from the game a little more. And yeah, damn, Soul Frame. Okay, there is another trailer. This game is called so playtest announcement. So you can get to the beta of the game to play earlier, and yeah, like this is interesting actually. Uh, what the fuck?
Imagine trying to.
Okay. Yeah, this is actually really interesting. Star Rapture official playtest announcement. So playtest early access fall 2025. So not too long, not too far. The single playtest kicks off July 29th. So tomorrow actually. Tomorrow is the playtest. So if you want to check it out, Star Rapture official playtest announcement trailer. Okay, I never heard about Star Rapture. Let's check it out. Wow. Okay. Okay. Okay, single player round. So this looks like a in between construction type of like thing. What can you like look at this? Look at this. Look at so you build your own like system, kind of like your machinery, right? And basically like what the fuck? You get attacked and stuff. Everything looks absolutely mint. Like this is wow. This and they show you the type of bases that you can do, and there is like you can actually like interact with the environment a lot. Wow, this is like not a game for everyone, but for the people that likes these type of games, this seems really fucking interesting. What the fuck? Star Rupture. The playtest is free, so you can sign up on Steam and get to try the game for yourselves. So yeah, damn. And the graphics are absolutely unbelievable. This and varied as well. God damn. Yeah, like I don't know if I'll get the time, but like check this out. This is absolutely like wonderful. Like okay. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. I'm curious about this. Visa responds to censoring game on Steam? Visa? Do you understand what the fuck is a Visa? A Visa is your fucking credit card. It's the people with the credit card. It's the bankers. Like, I need to fucking have an explanation. Since when do they even know that? Since when they know that fucking Steam exists? Okay, let's check it out. Let me just I need to. Mm, let me just. mm, Okay. I need to check if my sound functions. Okay, so Visa respond to censoring to censoring Steam games. What the fuck is going on? I need to know because like Visa is literally like it's kind of like it's similar to fucking like Bank of America or like PayPal fucking like being like having an opinion about Steam. This used to be this tend to be like really curious, really like it doesn't happen fucking like often. So I really want to know.
Buy a game on Steam only to find out it's vanished. Not because it's illegal, but because Visa and MasterCard decided you can't buy it. Over the last few weeks, tens of thousands of games have been removed from both Steam and itch.io, and it's all due to pressure from payment processors. This isn't just about a few controversial titles, it's affecting everything from small indie projects to mature but otherwise legal games. It's a
What
new
the
reality
fuck?
where gamers no longer get to decide what they can buy. But
So usually this people tend to fucking panic when it happens. You don't worry, bro. The gamers, they always win. You will not lose access to your fucking games. This nonsense will not become like some like video on demand nonsense where like you have to fucking buy 5 subscriptions to fucking get your game. Usually it gets resolved real fast because usually people like that get enter these so let's say like the payment processor like they understand the people who actually sell games, they know what the fuck is going on, and they do not, and people like even Visa or MasterCard or like Bank of America or like PayPal do not get to fucking have a choice over mega corporations such as Steam. So there is no worries to have, but really like I know there's someone else tried to fucking tell Gaben how to fucking like fucking do business, and Gaben is about to remind them what the fuck Steam is all about, you know?
gamers aren't just sitting back. There are reports of a mass campaign, Operation Fighting Fire with.
And by the way, on the other side, the gamers, yeah, also not people stupid. You do not get to fucking do that in their turf, on their environment. They are not the stupid people where like you come by and you say we are like we know how to do math. No, because like gamers are not your fucking like average person that does not fucking like that doesn't allow this fucking nonsense to go on, and everyone supports indie gaming and indie studios and stuff like that. People protect themselves, like the gaming community, when it comes to like protecting the gaming community, are really fucking like really fucking awesome. So yeah, no panic to be had, but like it's really interesting. Who the fuck had a problem with us playing video games this time? Before it was people telling us it makes us violent, and it's like now it's actually people with credit cards. Let's check it out.
Fire. Their goal? To bombard MasterCard and Visa with calls and emails, mirroring the tactics used by groups like Collective Shout, who initially targeted Steam. Collective Shout claimed victory with around 1,000 emails, and gamers believe they can collectively shout much, much louder, simply letting MasterCard and Visa know, hey, these games we want to buy are legal, let us spend our money. So, as gamers express their frustration, Visa has responded to multiple emails with what appears to be a copy-paste response. I've seen multiple different emails, but they all had the exact same reply, so let's see what Visa has to say about the situation. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. This sounds fair. Visa says they follow the law. Obviously, if something is illegal, that is its own situation, and I would agree that it should be banned from Steam.
Yeah, give 4chan an actual like actual real enemy for once to not fucking some people that like the fucking despise some for some reason. I'm not like in the side. I never was on the side of 4chan, but like if we the fucking attack Steam, like 4chan will fucking finally be like, and we even get the heroes if we fucking do that. But at the same time, it's fucked up.
But these games we are talking about are legal, which is the problem. While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity on our network, we are equally committed to protecting legal commerce. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction.
So here's the thing. Steam, what they do is legal. Their fucking PR team is actually force legal commerce by actually removing, for example, there was like AI generated content, right? Gaming and stuff like Steam responded by we only want like real games on our platform. They do a lot of censoring with weird games that are like not for any public, and they do a lot of work. Basically, like you just check out how much Steam cares about you, the player, about players. You'll be surprised, and this is why it's like, yeah, you don't fucking come to the fucking like territory of Steam telling them what to do, because Steam is it will actually, I think that like the resolution will be Steam just like reminding them of who they are and telling them your business slash legal fucking like nonsense that you write. We do that too, except that like we do that to protect our customers the right way, and not fucking like try to fucking like create nonsense or like create instability. And technically, yeah.
We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers. This is a very strong statement. Visa claims they don't judge what people buy if it's legal, and if a purchase is legal, they process it. This sounds great. This is what you would assume a payment processor would do. But if you have been paying attention at all to the situation, you would know this is simply not true. From games to crypto, guns, anime, porn, even energy companies, and so much more. But back to Visa's statement. If they don't make moral judgments, what does that even mean? It means they claim they don't care if content is adult, violent, or controversial as long as it's legal. They say their job isn't to decide what's right or wrong morally, but just to make sure money moves for legal products. So they are saying one thing, but then doing the exact opposite. Visa continues in the email. Visa does not moderate content sold by merchants, nor do we have visibility into the specific goods or services sold when we process a transaction. This claim is also very clear. Visa says they don't look at the content being sold. Visa and MasterCard are intertwined in so many businesses around the world, you can't actually expect them to go through every single one to review and moderate everything. Visa also says they don't see what's being sold when money moves.
And on top of that, to add to that, Visa, the people from Visa do not fucking know what the fuck is a video game. And this is the funniest fucking thing where it's like, oh yeah, we care about what you're buying. Can you describe to me, did you ever even play the video game? Do you know what are video games? Do you know about like video game culture? And these people are like, no, but we know better than you, the consumer. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck away from
If
here.
they don't see the content, how do they know if something is quote-unquote risky? Well, they rely on reports from banks themselves, complaints from the public, or even activist groups to flag a merchant as risky. So Visa won't look at every single game.
Yeah, indie companies are like the really risky sellers. Am I right? Like, god damn. Like, fucking Ori. They released Ori. They released like fucking like, oh fucking know, a bunch of fucking, a game about a cat, Stray. Yeah, these people, as we really need to fucking watch over them, huh? Like Stray, the game about a cat, and you play a cat, and you're just nice to people. Really fucking risky. People need to fucking like
But if a platform like Steam has a lot of content that's getting complaints, Visa can view the entire platform as a risk, which is how Collective Shout were able to get Visa and MasterCard to listen to them. By painting Steam and itch.io as this very bad place, asking them to demonstrate corporate social responsibility and immediately cease processing payments. But Visa continues in their email. When a legally operating merchant faces an elevated risk of illegal activity, we require enhanced safeguards for the bank supporting those merchants. The last part is key. Visa says if a store has a high risk of illegal activity, they make the banks working with that store take extra steps to be safe. But notice they don't say the content is illegal, just that there's a risk of it.
The content is because they don't know what the fuck the content is all about. They do not know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know what the fuck is the business of video games and never played it.
Visa claims that they do not make moral judgments on legal purchases and do not moderate content. But let's compare that to what
Because video games, the video game industry is not your fucking like, I don't fucking know, food industry or stuff like that, where it's like really easy to understand good food, bad food, like this is illegal food and this is like just like, yeah, like it's a fucking industry. It's kind of like, imagine it's kind of like, and so this will be similar to Visa entering the cybersecurity business and telling people, yeah, better be sure about what the fuck cybersecurity, never heard this word before, is and what you're buying. A bunch of fucking nerds will tell them, we know what we're buying. Do you know what the word cybersecurity means? And they'll be like, not really. And it's like, it's kind of the same.
Valve and itch.io actually said about the recent changes. In classic Valve fashion, they were quiet on the issue, with the only official information we have from them is the new rule change and an official worded response they gave out to multiple different journalists. In their response, Valve hinted heavily that payment processors were threatening to cut them off. They stated they had to retire certain games because losing payment methods would prevent customers from buying any titles on Steam. This made it clear that Steam was now at the mercy of these payment processors, despite Valve's usual hands-off approach to legal content. itch.io was even more direct. They flat out stated they changed their rules because payment companies threatened to block all payments on their platform. So if Visa isn't making moral judgments or moderating content, why were these threats happening over legal material? Is Visa implying Steam and itch.io are lying? Well, the answer is in one vague word: risk. Visa states they require enhanced safeguards when there is an elevated risk of illegal activity, but risk is a broad.
Oh no, people buying like the new fucking indie games are at risk, huh? They're at risk. Better remove the indie game from their fucking like Steam account that they paid for. Not give them money back and remove the game afterwards without any words. What is the so who is doing the risky the risky behavior here? Who is acting as the risky company in here? Come on.
Term. Often, it's not actually about illegal content, but about anything that might generate bad press or public protests. This gives power to groups like Collective Shout. They sent numerous emails, made phone calls, and ran public campaigns, painting Steam and itch.io as risky places, urging these payment processors to cease business, which obviously led into them then pressuring Valve. These payment processors hold all this power because almost everyone uses their cards, so when they label a platform as risky, which often just means enough people complained, they can directly threaten that platform with losing access to their entire payment network. This also isn't just about Steam and itch.io either. We've seen similar problems in Japan, where businesses selling certain types of legal adult content have lost payment options from companies like Visa, often under the same risk umbrella. Even Visa's CEO in Japan has been vocally against adult content. This shows a clear pattern. Payment processors, despite their claims, directly influence what can be sold. If they decide a business is risky, even for legal content, they can effectively shut down that business's ability to operate. So this email from Visa is a clear example of a big company saying one thing, while their actions and the statements of the platforms they work with show something completely different. Now it's also important to remember, as this video did have a focus on Visa, there are other payment processors involved as well. There are some reports from people calling MasterCard that issues have escalated to a higher department, as they have been getting calls about this all week. Whether MasterCard's higher department actually does something is a different question that we will just have to wait to see. While the exact behind-the-scene details of what happened between payment processors and Steam are unknown, one thing is clear: Visa claims of no moral judgments don't match reality. They use vague terms like risk to deflect responsibility while controlling what content is bought and sold. This situation makes one thing very clear: payment companies like Visa and MasterCard have huge unchecked power. They shouldn't be allowed to dictate what legal content can be bought or sold online simply by labeling it risky. Because what really is risky?
Exactly, and especially in an industry, video games, that like they do not understand, gamers understand, and usually, and this is kind of like the most humiliating part, where like, gamers unite. Gamers are the ones fucking like doing content and actually like reassuring or warning other gamers or other people of risky products, meaning that you probably remember these games that were like basically scams, and then people on YouTube said, don't buy this game, this is a scam. And then these risky products, well, the fucking community takes care of it, and then Steam as well, and then like other like game companies as well. But like the gaming community actually is not reliable on many things, but when it comes to like product safety, gamers are actually fucking like really, really, really careful about it. Like, and there really are a beautiful community where people feel safe. Like, people warn you, people of scams, unfinished games, and all this stuff. And well, this is a beautiful thing about the gaming industry. They really fucking care about like gaming, but also gaming for others. And this is why you get to see like YouTube videos or videos on social media where people actually are telling you this game is not worth it, this game is a scam, this game is not finished, don't buy it. And it's like, yeah.
This unchecked power must be challenged. Payment processors, with their monopoly on transactions, operate as essential services, like electricity or water. They should be forced to provide fair access to all legal purchases. This is something hopefully we see happen in the future. That's why collective action is so important. From calling and emailing Visa and MasterCard directly to supporting policies like the Fair Access to Banking Act, gamers are making their voices heard. They're now telling elected officials that these powerful companies are overstepping by blocking legal purchases. There are petitions already, with over 100,000 signatures, and I'm sure it will only grow as gamers start to realize how bad this problem really is. So what do you think about Visa's email? Do you think Steam and itch.io removed tens of thousands of games just because they wanted to and then blamed it on payment processors for no reason? One thing is,
Nah, there's no way. There's no way, because they do the same fucking thing for themselves. They remove themselves games that are like questionable.
it's clear. Gamers aren't accepting this response, and they want payment processors to stop deciding what content can be sold.
Okay, this was an interesting thank you Water CS2 for this video. Really interesting. Yeah.
You think you know Azeroth.
Okay. Okay. Let's get back to some WoW. I actually want
You think
to.
you know Azeroth.
So 10 places in classic WoW that shouldn't exist but do. So let's check it out.
You've run every dungeon and explored every zone, but there are places in classic WoW that feel different. Places with no quests and no mention in the lore, so there's no apparent reason for them to exist. It's like Blizzard built them, then quietly backed away. We'll discover a nightclub buried inside a dungeon, or a troll extravaganza. Even a crypt filled with drowned corpses chained to the ceiling. You've probably Ganza.
Let me prove that I'm a fucking mega nerd about like World of Warcraft. This is in Black Rock, dungeon, Blackrock Depths. This is like a part of the dungeon where you can actually like enter a tavern, and yeah,
Buried inside a dungeon or a
this I don't know. I'd say no. This I don't know.
troll extravaganza, even a crypt.
This is at Kerzen. This is actually not in Kerzen, but in the buildings next to Kerzen. You get to fucking do a quest, and it's fucked
Filled
up.
with drowned corpses chained to the ceiling. You've probably explored some of them. Others, you were never supposed to see. But ever since you saw them, you can't unsee them. These are some of the places Blizzard forgot.
And this is actually the airport of fucking Ironforge. I'm such a fucking nerd about this game. You wouldn't believe.
Or tried to hide. Everyone remembers the Great Lift, the gateway from the Barrens into the Thousand Needles, but there's a camp above it that
No one fucking remembered this zone, like for real.
almost nobody remembers. If you use careful terrain jumping west of the lift, or even use a well-placed slow fall, you'll discover a touring campsite. It has tents, totems, torches, a campfire, but nothing else. No quests send you here. No NPCs interact with you. The Grim Totem guards below never mention it. It's just a fully placed outpost in a spot you're never sent to. And lore-wise, there's no Tauren tribe meant to be living up here. The Grim Totem have no lore about cliff settlements. This isn't even a staging point. It's a ghost camp. Some believe it was a planned quest hub for a Grim Totem subplot, then cut late in development. Others think it was meant to hint at secret paths into Thousand Needles from Feralis or Stone Talon. Either way, it's a
This
piece
is
of the
interesting.
world that exists outside of the story. You fight through lava, dark iron goons, and angry fire elementals. Then, deep inside Blackrock Depths, you walk into a party? The Grim Guzzler is a full tavern inside.
It's not it's a tavern. But they're partying, obviously, and there are even quests in it. You can even have some quests, and there is a hidden boss in it also.
One of the most popular dungeons in classic World of Warcraft. There's music, bartenders, and you see dwarves dancing. A bouncer and even a band, Plugger Spazring and his crew, playing a looped concert? Why is this bar even here? Blackrock Depths is the seat of the Dark Iron Dwarves' power. Their emperor lives just a few halls away, but somehow there's a neutral zone here.
So a few walls away. Yeah, it's real. Blackrock Depths is so fucking big. It represents like basically this a full-on city where you start at the prisons and then you go deeper. There are like the walls. Like it is such a beautiful. If you never finish Blackrock Depths, I suggest you to fucking like come by just like as a high level and check out how fucking big it is. It's bigger than most raids these days.
Hostile enemies walk past it without interfering. Even if you're killing their boss 5 rooms over, these guys just keep partying. Lore offers no real explanation. Plugger Spazring has no faction, no quest. He's just a guy who loves beer. This bar isn't broken. It's one of the most well-built rooms in the dungeon, but it breaks immersion in the best way. It's almost like a joke the developers left in. What if deep inside this fortress of evil was a nightclub? The Grim Guzzler is fun. It's detailed, but in the middle of a dungeon, it absolutely should not be here. Or should it?
And in Blackrock Depths, the thing is, like, if you wanted to fucking get to the last boss, people usually didn't run Blackrock Depths to the end boss. The end boss actually can drop an epic reward. And here's the thing, that people usually stopped at a certain point in Blackrock Depths and they fucking came back. And basically, like, it was a 3-hour dungeon if you wanted to fucking like, and it was a difficult one.
Let me know what you think. Between Stormwind and Goldshire sits a quiet little house. Tucked away behind a hill, it's easy to miss. But if you enter it, you'll meet one of the most unsettlingly normal people in classic WoW. Her name is Donnie Anthenia, but you'll know her by her title, Crazy Cat Lady, and she's holding a cleaver. Her home is full of neutral cat critters, Bombays, tabby cats, silver cats, wandering freely around her tables and walls. She sells 4 different pet cat carriers to players. And while that seems wholesome, it's actually not. She doesn't speak or give quests. There's no lore about her. She just sells pet cats and silently stares at you with dead eyes while you browse her inventory. She's not part of Stormwind's
Crazy Cat Lady. I think that this dude is awesome, but I think he sees a little bit too much. It's not as dark as you think. Crazy Cat Lady, a Crazy Cat Lady. You ever never heard of a Crazy Cat Lady? Crazy Cat Ladies, they're crazy. That's it. They're not dark. It's just crazy.
Guard, nobility, or any family
And fan of cats.
line. No one in town mentions her, and it seems there's no backstory. And then there's the cleaver. She just holds it, standing silently in a room of cats.
Yeah, Crazy Cat Lady.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? According to Wowpedia, Donnie Anthania is named after Donna Anthony, a World of Warcraft community manager, known to players by the handle Katricia. She was known for loving cats and used a feline avatar on Blizzard forums during WoW's beta. Developers decided to immortalize her in-game, but gave her a cleaver and surrounded her with 30 cats, which,
That's
let's
cool.
be honest, is probably how she wanted it. It's a calm, perfect, static horror scene in the middle of Elwyn Forest. The wetlands are full of swamps, crocolisk's, and angry dwarves. But if you scale the cliffs southwest of Menethil Harbor, you'll find a farm, a whole working farm, sitting up there in total isolation. It's built like any normal Alliance village. Dwarven-style homes with fenced fields, a pond with a waterfall, and even a signpost pointing to this way, that way, and the other way. So what's the problem? This place doesn't show up on the map. No roads lead to it. There were no quests. No lore mentions a farming community in the Wetlands Highlands, and the only way to reach it in Classic is to jump down from the Ironforge airfield using slowfall or path glitches. But the airfield is a story for another video. Even stranger, there are NPCs here. Dwarven guards, farmers, and cows. They act like everything's normal. Lore-wise, the wetlands are under threat. The area is full of dangers, but apparently up in the cliffs, a group of dwarves is just planting wheat and chilling. There's even a tunnel on the edge of the zone that leads nowhere, a dead end into the hillside. Maybe it was
Yeah, probably I removed like content.
meant to connect to another zone. Maybe this whole farm was planned for something, and then forgotten. Either way, it's peaceful, built, and completely unacknowledged by the rest of the game. And that's what makes it so weird. This place is beautiful. It has straw huts, tiki torches, a central bonfire with dancing trolls, and a hidden cave with ancient troll tablets. You can't reach it by foot through normal means, but by wall jumping or swimming the fatigue waters, you'll eventually land in this secluded, fully designed village. The trolls here are named Shatterspear, and they're not just background flavor, they're real mobs. They even have a bit of tribal structure, warriors, witch doctors, and drummers. And yet, they're not in any quests in Classic. No Night Elf mentions them. No Horde mentions them. They're totally disconnected from the game's story. Even worse, or let's face it, maybe even better, in the center of their camp is a Tauren's head on a pike staring down at the dancing circle. It feels almost sacrificial. What were they doing here? Nobody knows. This wasn't just terrain decoration. It was a whole microculture left behind. In Cataclysm, Blizzard would return to wipe them out. But in Classic, it's a secret tribe, partying in the mountains, as if waiting for a story that never arrived.
It's a cool Easter egg.
Everyone obviously knows Ironforge. It's one of the safest cities in the game.
Oh, within Ironforge, oh, let me tell you. So there is actually, you can get under Ironforge. And basically, you need to do a duel to actually, with someone that can fear you, to go through a wall. And you can actually, let me show you that. Okay. So basically, you can see the resolution. It was during vanilla. If it has like black around it, it is It is under like you can get there, like it doesn't matter. Wait, what the fuck are they doing? Okay. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, they go this way. No, it was like easier to go uh like this, I think. Like, so basically you do, so yeah, you do a duel. Yeah, you go and you do a duel with a mage. And basically, oh yeah, it was through, he needs to transform you basically. And then you go there, does it go there? There was like a door. Like you can go there as well. Yeah, it was this door. So basically, there is like this hidden door, these two hidden doors, and they're actually not they're actually not walls, they're doors. And then like you get polymorph, right? During the duel, because the duel. And then you get to enjoy, let's check it out together, the Under Iron Forge. And this is actually so surprising during vanilla. I managed to fucking get there. It's so fucking insane because you're like, wow, there is like hidden content in here. And it was actually never used for any type of content. But it's really fucking insane that there is so much. Like let's keep watching together. Like this is like, look at how fucking pretty it is. There is lava and basically like there's like some like, god damn. Hmm. Like the typical of this is typical like the type of soundtrack that they fucking had these days at this time like in all these videos. But yeah, it's under Iron Force. You wouldn't believe it. Well, what can I tell you? This was like fucking awesome. Let me check if they go upstairs, right? Here you go. So there is like this side that like this show, but then there is like this fucking side. Like now that I think of it as a guild, this is, you could just chill here. Like this is so fucking cool. And have like your base camp, you know? So yeah. Here you go. If you never knew that like there was a secret to Iron Forge, yes there is. There is, and it is a good one. It is a good one. One that like you never saw before. Alright.
Game, but beneath the throne room, locked behind massive doors, is a silent tomb. Welcome to Old Ironforge, also known as the Hall of Thanes. In vanilla, the doors under the throne are sealed, but players found ways in through glitching or wall clipping. And what they found is stunning. A giant magma pit, bridges leading to nowhere, massive
Okay, so we were talking about it and it got
stone
updated.
hallways, empty crypts and statues, and absolute silence.
So you can see like that it got updated since the footage that I showed you.
There are no NPCs. Lore would later explain that this is where dwarven kings are entombed, that Magni Bronzebeard himself would be petrified here in the future. But in Classic, none of that exists yet. It's just an abandoned royal tomb, left open for anyone sneaky enough to fall into it, and it raises a lot of questions. If the dwarves already had a sacred underground vault, why is no one guarding it? Why is it modeled in such detail with lava and vaults and rooms but completely unused? Most players know Karazhan as the haunted Tower of Medivh. In Classic, it's sealed. But if you go through the ruined graveyard of Morgan's Plot, you'll find a locked gate. That's the entrance to the Karazhan Crypt. In Vanilla, you couldn't open the gate, but inside the game files, there's a full dungeon under the tower. Players who managed to glitch through the door found the following: the Upside-Down Sinners, but we'll get to that later. There is Pauper's Walk, a stone tunnel with countless tombs, the Slough of Despair, a pit filled with bones, and the Well of the Forgotten, a deep shaft too dark to see the bottom. There are no mobs, just disturbing ambient sounds. Some players report hearing whispers, a heartbeat, or distant screams. According to dev interviews, this area was designed for a 5-man dungeon, but Blizzard abandoned
knew
it
that.
due to the dark tone. They feared it would push the game beyond a teen rating. So instead of removing it, they just left it behind. To this day, it sits under Karazhan, a full underground crypt, a forgotten dungeon, a horror story without a story. By the way, in Season of Discovery, it actually became a dungeon. However, Blizzard altered the dungeon's design. Deep in the forgotten corners of Dun Morogh, past the snowy cliffs and through the Great Sea's fatigue waters, lies a dock, one shack, one rowboat, one empty pier. Welcome to Newman's Landing, the loneliest place in Azeroth. There's no road here, no nearby town or NPCs, and certainly no quests, just a signpost that says Newman's Landing, some barrels, crates, and an old still for brewing. And let's not forget piles of bones scattered around the building. Some players believe this was a developer test area, a placeholder spawn point for new characters. That's where the name comes from, Newman's Landing. As in, you just logged in and whirled here before being placed somewhere else. In very early vanilla builds, you could occasionally see level 1 characters flash in and disappear, a bizarre visual glitch that fed the theory. But it's more than that. This place is mapped. It has sound, lighting, and physics. The shack has full collision. The dock creaks under your feet, and the boat rocks gently in the surf. If it were just a dev test zone, why is it built so well? Why is it named? Why are there bones?
So technically, like the architecture of World of Warcraft, when you put an item, well, the item exists. It's kind of like, oh, I'll fucking tell you, like it's. So this is normal, but the fact that they choose the music is actually like different. Lighting, it's the same. Like there is no like not working torches that you need to light on. You know, like when it comes to developing. All the torches, if they put a torch somewhere, it fucking works, you know, it functions.
So many unanswered questions. Anyway, it's unsettling, abandoned, and purposefully placed. And yet no one, in-game or out, can give a proper reason for it being there. Newman's Landing is the kind of place you find at 3 a.m. and regret staying too long. Goldshire is supposed to be the most peaceful place in the world. But sometimes, when the server clock hits 7 a.m., something strange happens. 6 children spawn and slowly start to walk in formation. They move in a perfect pentagram pattern through the forest and eventually enter a house just outside Goldshire. Once inside, they climb the stairs to the
So technically worship N'Zoth
top floor and stand completely
or all gods.
still. At some point, that's when the sounds start. You'll hear a banshee scream, Cthulhu whispering, "You will die," moaning, wailing, and the roar of a dragon. There are no quests tied to them, no explanation in lore. They despawn at 8
It was, yeah, Cthulhu actually.
a.m. Nobody in town comments on them. But the house? It's real. The sounds? They're real. And the kids? They show up every single day. Theories have swirled for years.
And this is what I call good game design, where they leave you with some Easter eggs that you get to find that have like no meaning except for lore reasons and just to create more atmosphere. Not everything has to be a quest, not everything has to have a purpose in a game. Some things are just atmospheric, just for like to feel like to I don't know. I mean, you get me.
Some think they're a reference to Children of the Corn. Others believe it's tied to the old gods. So, if you want a deep dive into this horror story, I have a video about the Goldshire kids. It covers the speculation, the timing, and the community theories that tried and failed to make sense of them. Because really, how do you explain children performing a dark ritual next to a beginner town? Yes, we already talked about the Karazhan Crypt, but the entire dungeon deserves mention.
I can even explain to you from like a game developer perspective why you will do it in a low level zone. It's because people that will notice, it will take time, and usually not the new players. Experimented players will notice it, and this is what makes it cool. It's just an Easter egg, but also it's more of a like, yeah, like something that like makes you more immersed into the game, and this is what's really cool, and this is really good game design.
And one part deserves its own spotlight. The Upside Down Sinner's Room. It's a flooded pit. You swim down, and hanging from the ceiling are naked corpses, bound by chains, swaying slowly underwater. This room is rendered with extreme detail. The physics are real. The lighting is custom. The bodies hang just out of reach. And it's completely unused. Blizzard cut this dungeon from vanilla before launch. According to developer comments, it was too dark for the game's tone, and they were worried about the game's rating. So they sealed the doors and left the crypt buried. But it's still there. And this room? It feels like it was made for another game. Not WoW, not this colorful cartoon world. This is something out of a nightmare. And if you manage to find your way in, you'll understand why this is the #1 place in classic WoW that should never have existed. So next time you're swimming with corpses, or watching children summon Cthulhu from the attic, or stumbling onto a dock.
Technically, Cthulhu is way much more fucked up than anything that he said. Like, cosmic horrors are like on a different level of scary. But here's the thing, it's like, you really need to get into this type of lore, and people really don't know this type of lore.
Dock full of bones and no answers. Just remember, you could have been watching another Roblox video, but you're here, you like it weird, so like and subscribe before Blizzard decides these places were a mistake and deletes them all. You think
This was a great video. Thank you, Shadow Scribe, for this video. It was really awesome. Alright. Let's get into the world of animes. Alright. So, High School of the Dead, do you remember it? Do you remember High School of the Dead? I remember one clip in particular with a lady that is avoiding the bullet of a sniper. If you know this, you are a connoisseur, and you probably were like, huh? What the fuck is this? So yeah, High School of the Dead, a review, like, I'm actually curious. Like, let's check it out.
Review of High School of the Dead, an anime about zombies. It's Japan's first take on the zombie apocalypse genre, following a group.
Yeah, basically, to summarize this anime, hot schoolgirls against zombies. Yeah, a couple cool dudes.
Group of survivors battling the vast army of the undead with a cast of highly trained supermodels, complete with over-the-top, balls-to-the-walls, physics-breaking action as if the whole thing was programmed in the fucking Matrix. Speaking of the Matrix,
What are you trying to tell me?
Yeah. Oh. In a certain way, it is kind of like a Tarantino kind of take, but it's really, just because like it's so over the top action, but it's like you really ask yourself the question, what the fuck is going on and how the fuck? But it is more stupid though.
That I can dodge bullets?
Here's the scene. Here's the scene that I talked about.
at this point in time, the zombie genre is a concept that has been done to death in the Western media, invading movies, comic books, video games, and even novels, where it's got to the point that all you need to do to advertise something is slap some zombies in it, and the thing will sell out as if it came with complimentary biscuits and blowjobs. Surprisingly enough though, there hasn't really been any anime centered around the zombie apocalypse, even when the medium of anime gives the Japanese the chance to play with new and original takes of existing genres, or explore imaginative settings that couldn't have been presented in any other medium, which would have been perfect for a reimagining of the zombie genre. And then along comes High School of the Dead. a zombie apocalypse set in fucking high school. Shine on Japan, shine the fuck on. High School of the Dead is a 2010 anime done by Studio Madhouse and follows the progression of a zombie apocalypse seen through the eyes of Takashi Komuro, who's basically a clone of Kazuki from Booster Ranking, but then again I'm pretty sure super serious spiky head high school boy takes up around 90% of all anime protagonists. Anyway, one day while Takashi is busy pondering why pinky promises made in elementary school don't equal guaranteed sex, and casually pretending to converse with a girl despite the fact that her face is up here and not down there, he bears witness to a zombie attack by what seems to be a zombie version of Bill from accounting. From there on, panic ensues at school as everyone gets involved in a massive biting frenzy, and before you know it, the whole school has become an infected pit of dead flesh before you can say,
"You've got red on you."
From here, Takashi must rise to the challenge as he forms a ragtag team of survivors and faces the biggest challenge of his life. Trying to keep his fucking dick in his pants with a bloody sex parade constantly waving in his face 24/7, and maybe surviving the oncoming apocalypse in the process. The show plays out like your typical zombie survival story, with a group of unlikely heroes teaming up to battle hordes of the undead, wearing short skirts that cover about a millimeter of skin, while along the way hinting at the fact that the real monster in all this is instead mankind itself. And in the end, the cast is what you get if you cross a zombie apocalypse with your typical harem ecchi anime. You have Takeshi, who starts off as the unwilling spiky-haired hero who's thrown into a situation where he is forced to fight for survival and transforms into the confident, badass leader who's not afraid to kick ass and take names while occasionally asserting his authority by bitch-slapping the odd girl. Ray, the annoying cock tease of a heroine who flips between bitchy, stuck-up girl who just lost her boyfriend to helpless, needy damsel in distress. So suffice to say, she needs the occasional bitch slap to keep her in line. And again. And again. And now, just because I can... Takagi, the brains of the group, who is the type of girl that will fuss over her makeup and try to look pretty and put on a strong facade in front of the guy she likes. But
yeah, the whole anime, it wasn't like really intelligent. Like to be fucking real. I watched it and I was like, yeah, it's really like if you want to watch something that really like doesn't fucking just pass you the time that you won't remember, probably you will remember it, but like for the wrong reasons. Like this is a good like quote unquote seasonal anime that you can like enjoy,
she
you know.
forgets that in real beauty, it's the inside that really counts. Her dreadful personality. Kota, the chubby nut who's secretly a badass with guns, giving the viewer some hope that all that time dicking around a Call of Duty may actually come in useful one day. Sayako, the badass swordswoman who happens to think that dressing like a porn star is the most practical battle attire, a lolicon because there wasn't enough pandering in the show, and finally... Now, if you've heard anything about this show or its infamous reputation, you may be expecting me to rip it a new bollocks, so allow me to surprise some of you by saying in some ways I actually enjoyed this anime, in the sense that it was just pure mindless fun.
It is still well animated. The action is really good. Like it's still good enough. Like you typical seasonal anime that you watch, and you know that like it's good enough to watch. It's not good enough to fucking like
Yes, characters were typical, story predictable and completely shallow, but it never tries to hide what it's trying to be and does exactly what it says on the tin, with the tin saying hot high school girls fighting hordes of zombies with plenty of blood wearing skimpy school uniforms. P.S. This is a popcorn flick through and through and makes no attempt to disguise it. The plot is nothing we haven't seen before in previous zombie flicks, but it does well to portray the panic during the rise of the zombie infestation and post-apocalypse. This keeps us interested in what happens and how society breaks down in a dying world. Characters are pretty much one-dimensional and are only really there to fill in their stereotypical roles of kicking ass, flashing skin, or being fucking useless. But honestly, you don't go into a summer blockbuster expecting Oscar material, and its best points, it's a fun and entertaining show to watch. Animation is top notch, which is especially evident during the very well executed
absolutely
action scenes, in which all of the high school kids apparently tap into their inner B-movie action hero and spontaneously transform into the cast of The Expendables. With tits.
This is kind of why I compared it to a Tarantino, because like technically like the action scenes and stuff, they're legit, they're really good.
This resulted in some heart-pounding, over-the-top, balls-to-the-walls action reminiscent of my experience with Black Lagoon, another series done by Madhouse where the action scenes were stupid, defied the laws of physics, and were ridiculous to look at, yet were bloody awesome. Hold on a second. Over-the-top action, a cast of stupidly attractive female characters, explosions, a scene with the president. This is a Michael Bay movie.
I stayed up late on the night before the...
No, wait. It needs some Linkin Park.
I stayed up late on the night before the day everything came to an end.
Mr. President, you have to enter the code.
Fire! What the fuck's going on?
Now, of course, there's no way to go through this review without talking about the fan service, so as for that, I thought I said all I needed to about ecchi shows in my Ikitotion review, but with High School of the Dead, it's a slightly different case, since if it went without the borderline pornography, it wouldn't totally suck, no pun intended. See, the show itself is actually quite well done, and without the fan service, it would have been a respectably entertaining series, but any chance of it getting taken seriously is thrown out the window when the creators thought to themselves, you know what, we could create a fun yet respectable anime that takes a serious look at a post-apocalyptic zombie-infested world, but fuck that. This is going to be watched by guys. Guys have dicks like these, so let's throw them a bunch of tits and wait for our big pile of money. This results in some of the most distracting and downright annoying ounces of fan service that breaks any kind of immersion you may have had in any serious scene. See, as much as I like to rant about fan service, I'm all for it as long as it doesn't get in the way of the actual good stuff. And in High School of the Dead, they wave it in your face whatever the setting, context, or tone a scene may be.
Yeah, there's way too much of it. There's way too much of it. It's basically an ecchi anime, so an ecchi anime, right? But set in the zombie apocalypse, and it's just like, so about ecchi animes, usually they're set up in like cute high school or whatever the fuck, but like not somewhere like they mix like two stuff, and it's like, yeah, you remove this, there could have been like a fucking like maybe some more to that. But like, if you watched it, you, even if it was like a long time ago, you remember how fucking annoying it was, and you're like, uh, what the fuck?
Ian, creating what I'm pretty sure what is a new concept in modern cinematography of the classic breast eye view shots. No matter what's going on, the camera angle is always situated at the most revealing position possible. And on a side
The cameraman that like they recruited were actually too small. That's why.
note, my belts are longer than these fucking shorts. Where was I again? Oh yeah, breasts. Every breast in the show seems to have their own physics engine. By that, the anime completely ignores an old invention called the bra. Boobs are almost large enough to collapse in on themselves to create a singularity, and each individual boob has a mind of its own, with the slightest nudge apparently signaling the start of a breast rave party. And also, tits cannot do this, I think. And this is a real shame, because there is
They can, but like,
there's a lot of good in the show, which is easily overshadowed by the fucking tits waving in your face. For the subject of dubs or subs, this is a tricky one actually. On one side, the sub is just better acted, but on the other hand, the dub is just a lot more fun. You can tell the translators were having fun since the script is heavily rewritten, adding a variety of pop culture references from Romero films to Sarah Palin jokes. I'm not even joking. And also adding the word fuck to every few sentences. So take your pick. Would you rather have a more refined, better acted version, or one that doesn't take itself too seriously and is just having fun? Because as we know, adding the word fuck makes everything cooler and funnier.
It's fucking Sunday, and I've got to go to fucking work in 4 fucking hours because every other fucker in my fucking department is fucking ill. Now can you see why I'm so fucking angry? Fuck yeah!
Overall, High School of the Dead was a mixed bag of fun. It really is nothing but mindless entertainment, but it knows what it is and never tries to be anything more than that. So, if you've got some time to waste and want to watch zombies getting splattered to some well animated and choreographed action scenes, then go right ahead. Just make sure you have your fan service filters on, because you will get exposed to so much of this shit, your body is sure to start an immunity against it. Currently, High School of the Dead is licensed by Sentai Filmworks and is available through legal streams at Netflix, Hulu, or the Anime Network. And just in case you're one of those twats who skip right to the end of the review to see the score without actually watching it, well, here's my review in a nutshell.
Yeah, High School of the Dead was like really another one, but like another one that a lot of people that watched anime actually watched, and yeah, basically like really really an odd one. Really, it's just like there is nothing left other to say than like it was an odd one. Okay, let's get into what I like as well. Let's get into some history of bands. Like, I want to watch that. Let's check it out together. Like, yeah, like Korn. I really like this band. So some stories about Korn. Right. If you know, like, yeah. Okay.
I love short
Okay. Yeah. So the story of the tragic history of Korn. I love this band. And we get to fucking like check out how is it like what was their story like if you listen to their songs it comes like some like I don't know like it's really fucked up for some, really beautiful for others, so let's check it out.
Korn, the five-piece band from Bakersfield, California, rose to fame during the nu metal wave of the late 90s and early 2000s. Having sold more than 35 million albums worldwide, Korn is one of the most commercially successful bands of all time. As pioneers of the nu metal sound, the band went on to lead a hard rock revolution that made them into household names around the world. While the band catapulted into the highest levels of music industry success, the out-of-control world of rock and roll got the better of them and would ultimately lead the group through a period of darkness that nearly tore them apart. In front of the flashing cameras on every red carpet, Korn appeared to be a band that had it all. But as we would later learn, the group was on the verge of falling apart at any moment. This is a story of fame, excess, addiction, and ultimately, redemption. This is the tragic history of Korn. It was the summer of 1993. James Monkey Schaefer, Reginald Fieldy Arvizu, and David Silvera had been performing together in a band called LAPD, which actually didn't stand for the Los Angeles Police Department, but rather, Love and Peace, dude. The group had mediocre regional success in the Bakersfield, California area, but ultimately, the band failed to make a mark, which led to their eventual breakup. With their music careers on the mend, the three musicians set out to rebuild. Oh, and rebuild they most certainly did. The group soon found their frontman in that of Jonathan Davis, a quirky, nerdy, yet talented young singer with a distinctive voice that was not easily forgotten. Bassist Fieldy knew right where to find him. He had known Jonathan for years, as their fathers had performed together in a band, and his mother used to babysit the singer. They hung out as teenagers on occasion. Soon after, the band added guitarist Brian Head Welch and changed their name to Korn. The reverse R in their signature logo was actually a nod to Toys R Us, where several of the musicians worked for a time. Joining an undiscovered band was actually a risk for the group's new singer, Jonathan Davis. Joining an undiscovered band to Toys R Us, named Korn. The reverse R in their signature logo was actually a nod to Toys R Us, where
Oh, this is interesting. I never knew.
several of the musicians worked for a time. Joining an undiscovered band was actually a risk for the group's new singer, Jonathan Davis. One could argue his new job as the singer of a heavy rock band was much less intimidating than that of his former job. Davis had been working at a local coroner's office since he was a teenager, moving bodies, and later decided to attend the San Francisco School of Mortuary Science. To join Korn, Davis had to give up his budding career as a mortician, which actually went well, and gave the singer the ability to afford his own home. He later put that house up for sale and took a job at a local pizza shop to make some cash while he worked on what would later become Korn's debut.
No, I really never fucking knew. He was a fucking mortician, Jonathan Davis? What the fuck? That's so metal. What the fuck?
Studio to commence work on their debut effort in the early 90s. They worked with a young and unknown producer, Ross Robinson, who had an aggressive style in the studio that would elicit raw emotion from Davis while he recorded vocals. The success of this album would later launch his producing career and lead him to work with bands like Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, and The Cure, to name a few. This was just the beginning of a dark time for the band, one that some
They even work with Snoop Dogg. There is a song with Snoop Dogg if you never heard.
Times led to violent outbursts between members who would spend days abusing methamphetamines and alcohol while in between recording takes. The lack of sleep and angst felt by the members can be heard distinctly on songs like Blind and Ball Tongue. The latter was allegedly recorded while the band was especially under the influence of amphetamines. Brian Head Welch pulled no punches when asked in a Metal Hammer interview about how long he stayed awake while under the influence of the substance. I think it was 4 or 5 days. I've heard people go weeks or more, but I never could make it like that because I just get tired and paranoid too. I thought there were people in my attic looking down my vents, and I thought they were going to ambush me. People would come over and they would give me some crank, and I'd just go back to my safe and give them a few $100s from there, so they knew that I had money in my safe. I was like, what am I doing here? During work on Korn's first album, with rampant abuse of alcohol and countless other substances in tow, Davis was said to become violent. Here's Head talking to Metal Hammer about his interactions with the Korn frontman and guitarist James Monkey Schaefer during that time. Jonathan was drinking at the time, and that's when it would happen. When he was drinking, when he'd drink Jaeger, he would come on the prowl for us. He would be looking for us and we would be hiding in our bunks. He punched Monkey in the face one time, and he's not even a fighter. He's a sweet guy. But when he was a drunk, so when he was drinking, he was just a different person. Then Monkey used to charge certain people. He never did it to me. When he would get blackout drunk, I just stay away from him because he didn't know who he was or what he was doing, and he had zero memory the next day. The song Daddy on their self-titled album is arguably the band's darkest in their entire catalog, and one that the band was unable to perform for decades due to its dark and emotional nature. The recording process for the song was one that continues to live with everyone who was present to this day. On the recorded version, you can hear Jonathan Davis breaking down in tears as he recalls his own abuse dealt from the hands of a babysitter. This was the first time any of his bandmates were made aware of the trauma he endured as a child. Davis later said in interviews that the song is as much about being abused as it is about trying to tell his own parents and not being believed. He told Kerrang in an early interview, "When I was a kid, I was being abused by somebody else, and I went to my parents and told them about it, and they thought I was lying and joking around. They never did about it. They didn't believe it was happening to their son. I don't really like to talk about that song. This is as much as I've ever talked about it." Producer Ross Robinson said of the experience, "I remember just telling John, you know what to do. That's all I said. It was one of the most powerful things I've ever experienced." And continuing through the song with the sobbing, they were so good at jamming. The engineer Chuck Johnson was so great, not thinking about pressing stop on the tape machine. Davis added, "When I came out of there, I was sobbing. My whole band was crying, and they just all hugged me and shit. It was a crazy experience. We were all a band of brothers." Korn finished the record in June of 1994 and released their debut self-titled album on October 11th, 1994. The album was a significant success and is credited with establishing the nu metal wave that would later sweep the music industry for the next several years. While the album was generally well received and went gold 2 years later, it was their third album, Follow the Leader, that would launch the band to become a household name. The recording process for Follow the Leader was similar in ways to that of their previous two releases. Mainly, there was no shortage of illicit substances lying around, and the band now had much more money to fuel the abuse. Singer Jonathan Davis later told The Ringer, "It was just partying and doing shit to inspire us," he said. "We weren't thinking, oh, this needs to be a single. There's one thing I love about our band. We just wrote the songs and handed it to the label like, here you go, take it or leave it." The process to produce Follow the Leader was one that was a constant, out-of-control freight train of substance abuse that eventually led Jonathan Davis to get sober. Korn spent an unbelievable amount of money to keep them stocked with copious amounts of alcohol. Davis estimated that the band spent an astronomical $60,000 on alcohol alone during the recording of Follow the Leader. To put it plainly, that amounts to more than 2,000 bottles of Jack Daniels. This does not include the cost for the other substances that the band were using during that time, which is also in abundance. He said that the band was also frequently joined by members of Deftones and Limp Bizkit to also partake in the binge drinking that was going on. Davis later said, "It was the pinnacle of rock and roll excess. I'm singing on a record in the studio, I'm high on and there's some blowing an amazing musician that's in an amazing band. I'm not naming names, I don't tell." Korn was successful in a way that's now beyond any frame of reference in the modern music industry. The group, in competition with pop acts like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, dominated the charts on Total Request Live. The band was voted #1 for so long that MTV had to invent a retirement system to remove the video from airplay. It was Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC at the time, Davis said. We were the only rock band on TRL that was doing that shit. I had people showing up to my house trying to jump the fences to get in. All kinds of crazy shit. Producer Ross Robinson speaks on the band's out-of-control ways at the time and their relationship, which had become frayed by the time they were recording Follow the Leader. Quote, there were girls in the studio all the time when they were supposedly working, and they had people involved with them who were giving them blow. I wasn't involved with the drug scene or the party scene with those guys. I was the straight edge dude, the one that they trusted the most. But basically, their vision got clouded. They hired people to party with. As soon as that whole scene turned completely into Motley Crue, I was out of the picture. Guitarist James Monkey Schaefer said, it was crazy. You're giving a bunch of kids money that are already drunks and drug addicts. Probably not the best thing. Jonathan Davis was in a whirlwind of addiction that ultimately led to conflicts during the recording process. He said, I refused to start singing unless Toby gave me an 8-ball right away. Toby started freaking the fuck out because he knows if I do, I only get a couple takes, and that shit's gonna kick in and then my vocals are going to suck. There was a lot of that. I'd come in and do my vocals, and once they were done, I'd start drinking. I wasn't drunk when I did my vocals. I was under the influence at times, but for the majority of it, I'd stay sober. Then I was done, and I'd just get hammered. We'd start around 3 or 4 o'clock. Then, at 9 or 10 at night, we'd stop, and that's when the parties would start. We partied at NRG until 4 in the morning. Those poor guys would have to leave the place open, and we were just raging. Davis reflected, saying, in the end, it was necessary. It had to happen for me to realize what a out-of-control motherfucker I was, because it made me become sober, which in turn saved my life and my band, because my bandmates were ready to kill me. While the band was in the midst of their meteoric rise to success, Davis was quietly fighting to become sober on the inaugural run of the Family Values Tour. He said, we were put right into arenas for the Family Values Tour. I quit drinking, so I was detoxing the whole...
Oh, let me just check one thing for real fucking quick. Oh, damn.
Tour. I was going insane and had horrible anxiety attacks. I can't even put it into words. Watching everybody slowly go crazy because we lost our freedom. We couldn't go anywhere without bodyguards. Back in the day, we were the type of band where we'd play a club gig and have tapes and demos we brought to hand out to people. We'd meet people, go to their house, and have keg parties and shit like that. We couldn't do that no more. We couldn't hang out with our fans. We couldn't do shit. I call it being stuck in a box. And to this day, they keep me in a box.
That's such a fucking cool thing to do, though. Like, even though it's fucked up, imagine your favorite band is like, come to your city, you know, like, let's go party together, fans, and then you fucking end up partying with your fucking favorite rock star. Like, drinking and just talking about life. With like such substances included, like it becomes fucked up really fast, but that's such a fucking cool thing though, you know, like, and it talks about like the type of people that they are, you know, as people, not as like rock stars, legends, whatever, you know, just cool kids that like got the chance to fucking hang out there, become popular, and never fucking became like self-centered or egocentrical because of that, and they kept on going with the fans and stuff. It's messed up just because of the type of like life that they had, but I gotta admit, like, this is such a fucking cool, like, such fucking cool people though.
Bus, a dressing room, a hotel room, or a car. I can't be out in public. I can do it now a little more, but back when I had 2 bodyguards, one with me 24 hours a day, we went kind of crazy during that time period. After I got sober and went through a detox, after all the shit wore off, everything was good, but I remember all these emotions from that time period. While singer Jonathan Davis was able to put his self-destructive ways behind him, other members of the band would subsequently struggle with abuse for a number of years, putting themselves in situations that led them down a dark path. that took at least one of them from the top of the world to a point where he had little to no money in his bank account. The volatility from within the Korn camp continued during their fourth album cycle for their record Issues. Their fame also continued to skyrocket as members of the band continued to pocket millions of dollars, while some members of the band also continued a dangerous dance with addiction. Issues was released on November 16, 1999. The band received their own live special on MTV with TRL host Carson Daly. Thousands of fans showed up and camped out in Times Square for hours just to get a glimpse of the band standing up inside of the MTV studios. Through the pinnacle of their success, Korn members were privately struggling with violent outbursts and conflict. Bassist Fieldy revealed in his autobiography that he would often become violent and admitted during those dark days he should have ended up in jail on numerous occasions. But ultimately, the multi-million-dollar rock star lifestyle he was leading likely kept that away from him, but also enabled him to continue his self-destructive ways. Each member of Korn who struggled with substance abuse issues went on their own journey to achieve sobriety. For Fieldy, his sobriety would come after several of his own bandmates had gotten sober, including guitarist Brian Head Welch, who departed the band to achieve his own sobriety. More on that in a moment. Fieldy was faced with an immeasurable, heartbreaking tragedy that was unfolding before his eyes. He was losing his father, and despite being a multimillionaire and having access to some of the best doctors in the world, Fieldy was unable to save him. It was through this heartbreaking season in his life, Fieldy began to reevaluate what was happening around him. He spoke about the tragedy that ultimately led to his sobriety in an interview with New Release Today. He said, "My father's illness was a big mystery. The whole time my dad was in the hospital, the doctors kept trying to tell us that my father had cancer. They sent all kinds of tests away, but every single one of them came back negative. No cancer. I took him to the top specialists in the world. They suggested removing a lymph node from his neck to do another test. But even those tests came back without a trace of cancer. I just remember my dad saying, 'They keep trying to tell me that I have cancer, but I don't have it.' So we moved him to Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, which is one of the top hospitals in the world. Even though I hired the best doctors I could find, his health continued to deteriorate until he died." Following the passing of his father, it was an emotional moment shared between Fieldy and his stepmother that prayed with him and encouraged him to receive Christ. He said, "It was pretty chaotic in the hospital when Mindy first asked me to pray a prayer to accept Christ. Everybody was screaming and crying. I just did it because she asked me to do it. Even though I prayed a prayer of salvation with her in the hospital, I really didn't mean it in my heart. But when things chilled out and I actually did the prayer, it was the most amazing thing to do with my heart. I experienced chills throughout my whole body, and I felt something come into me, which now I know was the Holy Spirit. I think people can get a little freaked out when they hear somebody has received the Holy Spirit. It seems too weird for people to comprehend. The only way for them to really understand what I'm talking about is to pray the same prayer I prayed with all their heart and watch their lives miraculously change. When I got home from the funeral, I stopped drinking alcohol." He said, "When I'm out on the road, I have to rethink and reschedule everything I do. I started planning my schedule during the day because I realized there's nothing out there at night. There's nothing that comes out of it except a bunch of people partying. The conversations are such a waste of time that I've decided to do positive things during the day. Now I'll go out and see the city while I'm on tour, or I'll get up and work out, or make music during the day. I've just replaced my old lifestyle by doing all kinds of things that are rewarding." Going
Damn, this is really like inspiring. Damn.
back, in February of 2005, another member of Korn was ready to put the past behind them, but this time, it would also reportedly come with objections to the band's musical content and lead guitarist Brian Head Welch to depart the band. Korn shocked fans in February of 2005, announcing their guitarist Brian Head Welch had left the band. The statement read, "Korn has parted ways with guitarist Brian Head Welch, who has chosen Jesus Christ as his savior and will be dedicating his musical pursuits to that end. Korn respects Brian's wishes and hopes he finds the happiness he's searching for." On February 8th of that year, Welch had apparently written a letter of resignation to the band's management. According to the MTV report, Welch detailed a long list of reasons for leaving the band, including increased moral objections to Korn's music and videos. Soon after, Welch gave a radio interview.
If you never watched like Korn music videos, you should definitely give it a watch. It's so artistic. It has so many like messages to it. Like it is such a really like unbelievable time. These people are not only artists, but they do so much more, and you should check it out if you have the chance, if you offer yourself the chance to discover this band this way. They have so many music videos. They have so many like small stories in every song. It's really unbelievable.
Where he said, "I can go up there and play those songs and these solos, but I distanced myself from Korn for probably a year and a half, 2 years. I just wanted to fade away. It was crazy. I was so gone. But I found my way out, and I want to help anyone that wants to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I had to go through the lows to appreciate the highs, and it's not perfect, but it's damn near." While Welch characterized things as nearly perfect at the time, he would soon go on to deal with a painful betrayal that would leave him nearly out of money, to the point where he said he had to actually search through his couch to get quarters to be able to have money. After struggling for years with addiction, Welch had found a new path that left him outside of the band. He formed a close bond with a new friend who would later steal an untold sum of money, and when investigators later attempted to charge him with a crime, he disappeared off the face of the earth. To this day, Welch has never been able to locate the man. At the suggestion of a friend, Welch was told to reach out to a man who owned a few recording studios in Phoenix and Burbank, California. The man later went on to take hundreds of thousands of dollars from Welch through shady business deals. The man allegedly planned exotic business trips around the world that he claimed were to do business deals on behalf of Welch. Welch eventually realized these expensive trips were coming out of the recording budget for his solo album. He said in an interview with the Phoenix New Times, at the time, he had 2 studios, one in Burbank, and it looked like he had shit going on. It started to dwindle down, and each year it dwindled down until it crashed. There were plenty of signs for me to see, and there's no excuse, but my eyes were just shut. I'd partied for so long in the past that my mind just wasn't back to normal yet. The man was served with several lawsuits, but after his business was raided for allegedly hiring illegal immigrants, the man completely vanished. Welch said, "I was an idiot. I mean, it's pretty clear. I was like, screw the money, I don't care. It's not going to rule my life anymore. I walk by faith now. When I look back, it's like, whoa, why'd I do that? I can't believe I did that." Welch was still tied to the business and ultimately had to deal with many of the financial penalties, which left him broke. Reportedly, it got so bad that Welch and his daughter had to go through their couches just to gather spare change. He said, "That was the low point, and my biggest fear was possible, having to move back home with my parents until I got my royalties situated. I just didn't know how far I was going to fall." He'd become distant from the band that made him wealthy, and while he struggled for years during his time in Korn with substance abuse, it was after his departure from the band when he really hit financial rock bottom. Meanwhile, in late 2006, it was reported that drummer David Vyrah would be taking an indefinite hiatus from the band. A media frenzy ensued, and Jonathan Davis was asked whether or not David would be performing on the band's next album, to which he replied, probably not. Korn singer Jonathan Davis has since ruled out the possibility of a reunion with Vyrah, and in recent years, the former Korn drummer has made disparaging remarks about members of the band. In a post on his Facebook, he once said, "Sorry guys, Fieldy has acted like a tough guy for so long it's nice to tell the truth. Not only is he not a tough guy, but he's actually a cowardly little bitch." In response, Fieldy stated he had no animosity towards his former bandmate and wasn't sure why he had such a beef with him. He said, "I don't have a problem with him. Even if he has a problem with me, I don't really have a problem with him." The band later announced the addition of former Steel Panther drummer Ray Luzier, who remains with the band to this day. For years moving forward, Korn continued with a frayed lineup and a missing integral piece to their songwriting process, guitarist Brian Head Welch. who, as mentioned before, had been dealing with some very serious financial issues related to business partnerships. But it was a chance request by his daughter in 2012 to take her to a festival in Rockingham, North Carolina to watch her favorite bands, where he ran into his former bandmates who hadn't seen him in years. The musicians immediately reconnected and invited him up on stage to perform Blind with him during their headline set. One thing led to another, and Brian Headwelch rejoined the band. And although
It's such a fucking cool story. What the fuck? Like, this is
he
wow.
was back with the group that had previously led to his hard partying ways, Welch was in a good place at the time. Things stayed that way until 2015, when Welch began drinking wine with friends, which eventually turned into Fireball whiskey shots. Welch said, "For some reason, my addictive personality made me think, I'm gonna keep getting wasted and I'll quit next week. I'm only going to do it a couple more times, even if I didn't like it that much." That was pretty dark. He went to counseling and made an attempt to quit. He said, "A month later, the next thing I know, I was at a hotel bar doing shots and drinking beer. I was like, am I back as an addict? I was scared because I had just gotten counseling, but I'm back at the bar. Every night I'm around people that drink because I'm at a rock concert. We have wine and beer backstage, but no hard liquor. And everyone drinks every night while I'm on the road. No one gets sloshed around me, except maybe the fans I reach." In the years that followed, the members of Korn would become a prime example of a band who faced addiction and conquered it through strength, faith, and perseverance. The group began firing on all cylinders once again, and their music had noticeably improved after a couple lackluster albums. Their latest effort, The Serenity of Suffering, received mostly positive reviews from critics, and the group embarked on a worldwide tour in support of the album that was highly attended. In August of 2018, a shockwave went through the hard rock and heavy metal community after news broke that Devin Davis, the wife of Korn frontman Jonathan Davis, had unexpectedly passed away. Shortly thereafter, in a statement, Davis revealed that his wife had a very serious mental illness and her addiction was a side effect. He said, "I tried to hide what was going on for so long in order to protect her, but because of this tragedy that has happened to my family, I feel that now is the time to share the truth with all of you. She is the reason I have advocated so hard for those struggling with their mental health. I want her story to inspire people to reach out for help and not be afraid or hide from their illness." Jonathan
These men are a legend. This is such a like it's a sad story, but like it's great, and they probably saved a lot of people just by talking about it. Like, you wouldn't believe like the amount of people actually fans of these these mega bands, you know. And when they do stuff like this, you know, like it actually fucking touches a lot of people that are and helps their lives. Like a lot of people, like, you know, the story of like these people that said that say, yeah, listen to this album and it actually fucking changed my life for the better. And doing this, you know, like it actually also does, you know.
Jonathan's bandmates rallied around him as they performed their 20th anniversary Korn shows. And during these performances, the strength of the band, with the years of darkness now behind them, was self-evident. Each member of the band stood publicly alongside their brother Jonathan Davis as he dealt with his grief publicly in front of the fans. Korn is in the process of preparing a new album that's expected to release in 2019. Despite this recent tragedy, you can bet that this band is stronger than ever, sober, clear-hearted, and focused on the one thing that has always brought them together: music. Jonathan Davis has become a brave advocate for those dealing with mental health problems. James Monkey Schaefer is a proud and dedicated family man who regularly posts photos with his children and talks about how much he loves them. Head and Fieldy still walk a life of faith, and they bravely speak out in support of those who are dealing with addiction. And while the band has dealt with so much tragedy in their past, it's their future that looks more hopeful now than ever before. Thank you for joining.
And since then, they released new albums actually that I actually didn't got the time to check out. But this is such a beautiful story. Like, take pain and addiction to a different level and actually fucking like make something out of it. and actually become like you're like fucking preachers about about what's going on, and actually help people through your own story, you know. And it takes way more courage and way more like it takes a lot of energy to actually fucking like talk about it and be public about it. And it takes even more energy to tell yourself, I don't want this to happen to someone else, and I want what I learned to be to maybe hopefully help someone else that doesn't have like the support that I have, with a band, with the money, with like friends, with like and I think that like this is really really an inspiring fucking like yes band story. God damn. Corn fucking rocks. God fucking damn. I knew they rocked so hard, you know? Alright, let's get back to let's watch some memes and to that topic. Let's show. These fucking like
Go for it. Go for gold. YOLO, right? YOLO.
Oh, it's gonna hurt. Don't be scared.
what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, that's some cool looking cat.
What you got there, Anna? Me pickles. Here, I got it for you.
What the fuck?
I don't know whose side I'm on. What, are you on my side? You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm gonna kill you. Uh-oh, ripped out. Careful, easy, easy, easy.
Oh no, poor kid, he must have been so scared. Yuck. What a good boy. He knows. What? Oh no, oh no. Do you just... What the fuck? What the? What the fuck? That's such a big snail. Oh my god, what the fuck? That was a legitimate way to leave a message.
You help me up? Go boy, fist bumps.
What the fuck? Oh no. Why the fuck did I reacted like this? Oh my fucking fuck you. How dare you?
This bitch.
A guy pulling a car with no one in it.
Bro.
No one's in the car at all. They just lost the tailgate.
What the fuck? Alright, this was cute. This was adorable. This is an adorable huddle. Okay. Okay.
Hello.
That's good. Let's watch some more. Right.
Everyone, this is your daily dose of internet. This is just a regular, boring paperclip. You can bend it in any shape you want, and it won't go back to the way it was before. What makes this other paperclip so smart is that you can bend it in any way you want, but it'll still remember what it originally looked like. This paperclip is made of a type of metal called nitinol. Nitinol is an alloy consisting of titanium and nickel that has the ability to remember its original shape when placed in hot conditions.
Well, let's throw it in.
This is cool.
It's a paperclip again. Let's put it in there.
This is so cool.
Let's try a spring. We deform it. Look at that.
Person was filming this wild bear when an eagle swooped down and attacked it.
What the fuck? You can see at his faces. Look at the bear. Look at this fucking bear. It's like, I'ma fuck you up for what you did. What the fuck do you think you're doing?
In case you didn't know, plants actually move around a lot. They just do it really, really slowly.
What the fuck? I never knew. This will fucking scare me the fuck out.
Concept on how people might go shopping in the future.
Ah, a time lapse of a cat. Oh, look at this little boy becoming a big boy. Or a big girl.
Coca-Cola has these special bottles that can turn their wrapper into a ribbon.
This is cool. Look at him, what the fuck?
That's in this video. Hopefully you learned something new. And I'll
How
see you guys again
dare
very
you?
soon.
What the
Later.
fuck?
Hello everyone. This
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I am done for now. Stream 2 hours. Okay. I'm done for now. I will see you another time. And as always, be toxic.